South African writer and small business owner Simone Van Wyk joins me on the podcast to share her journey to becoming a writer. Once a professional photographer and now an animal decor artist, Simone balances her life between her small business, Pretty Dead Decor, her fiction writing, and time with her husband and 4 fur babies in a charming off-grid cabin nestled in the mountains of South Africa. Her debut novella, It's Okay, released in May of 2024, chronicles the survival of an abusive relationship. Listen as she discusses her brave decision to share this difficult chapter of her life. Since then, Simone has been focusing on her favorite genre, dark fiction. Her second book, Safe, is set for release in 2025, and she's currently writing her next novel, Time to Die. This is the Brewing Fiction Podcast. Simone, I would like to welcome you to the Brewing Fiction Podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited to be here.
Great. So you're reaching out from South Africa, correct?
I am. I'm in Cederbrock in South Africa.
The other side of the world, it seems. All right. Well, thanks for joining me. The first thing we like to do on the podcast is give you the mic. We like to call it Author's Corner. And what we do is we let you tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit of personal information, and then maybe a little bit about your writing.
I'm Simone. So I'm originally from Johannesburg. I was born there. I now live in a very remote cabin in the woods with my husband and our 4 dogs. I do have to say my first book, the book that is out now, that It's Okay, is not really the type of writing I usually do. There's like a main reason why I did write this book. But then all my other books are a little bit different, a little bit more darker. My writing is kind of like a release for me, if you will. That's originally why I started writing, to kind of just get a hold of my emotions. And yeah, I have 2 border collies, and I have an Afrikaner, and I have a very needy Jack Russell. That's my life.
You talk about your dogs, and my wife is, she loves animals in general, but as a side gig, she does dog sitting. And so she's done a lot of courses and a lot of training to understand all the different breeds. So I bet you when she listens to this, she's going to say, okay, well, that breed is needy. So I bet it's not a surprise that your Jack Russell is needy.
Yeah. And then the 2 border collies, the one is psychotic. And then the other one is also psychotic, but she's a little bit more trained. So they're all rescue dogs. So it also depends on where they came from. But no, out of the 2, the one is, she's like crack.
Is that right? Yeah. Love it.
She's insane.
Great. We're animal friendly here for sure.
Oh, that makes me happy.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, let me jump into Fast 5. This is where I'll give you just 5 pairs of words. It's an icebreaker, get to know a little bit more about you, and then it leads into our interview. So let's have some fun, okay? I always start with this one. Do you prefer coffee or tea?
It depends. I want to say coffee, but if you give me a chai or an Earl Grey tea, I'm going to pick the chai or the Earl Grey, but coffee.
Okay. Yeah, I'm coffee 99.9% of the time. So as a matter of fact, coffee.
Oh, I'm drinking water.
There you go. Are you a daytime or a nighttime writer?
Nighttime. I think it's so much quieter because we have a lot of animals around here. So especially alpacas and geese, and they can be very loud. So at nighttime, it's nice. You know, dogs are sleeping, husband's sleeping, and you just can go crazy.
Type away. Yeah, nice. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. In your writing, do you prefer happy endings or bittersweet endings?
Ooh, bit of both. Again, okay is a bitter. Like I like, to keep people guessing. So it's okay. It's a bittersweet ending without giving too much away. And then my second book is quite a happy ending. So it depends. It depends on the book, and it depends on how I'm feeling too, I think.
Of course, yeah. And I know a lot of these Fast 5 word pairs. Almost every guest in all of our episodes. They're like, oh, well, it's kind of both, but it just depends on the mood they're feeling. So,
Yeah.
yeah. All right. And your writing, is it plot driven or character driven? Generally.
It depends. It depends on the book. I have a book that
Yeah.
is plot driven, and I have a book that's character. But I think with most of my books, all of my characters do have a plot, so they do have a reason of why they are what they are. But then
Fair.
also the plot is very important to me. So I'd have to say both.
Yeah.
But oh god, yeah, it's a difficult question. I'm gonna say let's say plot for now,
Let's
just so
say
you
plot.
have one
Just so
instead
I
of me
have
keep saying
an
like
answer.
blah, blah.
Well, thank you for that.
You're
All right.
welcome. You're welcome.
And do you like to write in silence or with background music? This one should be one or the other.
It's background music.
Nice. Okay.
I actually one of my favorite band is actually Canadian. It's City and Color,
Is that
and
true? Oh,
that, yeah, City and Color.
okay.
It's my favorite band in the entire world. So I would listen to him. His name is Dallas Green. He's absolutely amazing. He used to be in a very hardcore band called Alexis on Fire when I was still
Okay.
like a hardcore kid. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so he's what I listen to all the time when I write my books.
Wow. I'll have to look up his music. I'm not familiar, actually. What genre is it?
Very chill. It's very, very chill. Yeah, he is a
Yeah.
Canadian singer-songwriter. My husband does not like the music. It's very it's so chill. It's like it's weird to put him on like him in a box because some of his music is way more chill and the other one's got a little bit of a beat, but he's just got the
Okay.
most beautiful, like angelic voice. It's amazing.
Nice. I'll have to look him up after.
Mhm.
Fabulous. Okay, so that's our fast five. However, I do have one more that I have to throw in here only because of your living situation. So, one of the ones that I throw out once in a while is Cabin in the Woods or Bustling Cafe for your writing. Where would you prefer? But I'm going to guess that you're Cabin in the Woods.
I'm definitely cabin in the
You
woods.
definitely are. And you don't have to go far,
I
right?
don't. I can just stay in my room.
Exactly. Yeah, in our correspondence, I did read that.
Yeah.
So, you want to share a little bit about how that like is that by choice?
It's by choice, 100%
Nice.
by choice.
Nice.
My husband and I used to live with my parents, obviously, when I used to work overseas,
Yeah.
and they have a farm in Mpumalanga. And then him and I started dating, and then I moved to Stellenbosch because he used to work at the university. And
Yeah.
then when his contract ended, we were like, where are we going to move? Because we've got dogs, and he was like, well, we have the cabin.
Yeah.
And honestly, growing up for me, my favorite book was Secret Window, Secret Garden, and I've always
Okay.
wanted to
Yeah.
be like more rainy and
Yeah.
be a writer and like live in a cabin, except not with all the corn eating and the murder. But so he was like, "Let's do it." So it's a big property. I'm at the back, literally right. I wish I could show you, but it's very dark. But right
Yeah.
behind here is a nature reserve too. So and there's
Oh wow.
hiking trails and everything. So it's definitely by choice. He still works overseas. He's actually going now to Stellenbosch to go work at a festival.
Hmm.
And yeah, so we just love getting away because we both worked on a cruise ship and it was so busy and you worked from like 7 days a week. So we were like, let's just get away, let's just go
Mm.
chill. So that's
Yeah.
what we're doing here, chilling.
Oh wow. That must be so
Yeah,
inspiring with the environment and just keeping
yeah.
the world outside so that you can just dive into your
Oh,
own world when
mate.
you're writing.
Yeah, it's true, and it keeps you on your toes living here because a lot of times we would be working in the garden and then, oh, here's a snake, cool, or we've got these
Yeah.
massive huntsmen that decide to come in, and like we are very much in the thought process of like, well, we living in their area, like we moved into their
Mm.
home, so we always try and like relocate them, but sometimes you get scared like when you're like washing your face and all of a sudden you see this massive spider just like, hey, what's up? You just want to give him the
Wow.
keys and sign the lease over because it's scary.
I bet. I'm not sure that that's a place for me. Yeah.
Right, I used to be a very bad arachnophobia, like I used to have very bad arachnophobia, but since living
Yeah.
here now I'm like picking them up, and like I've always loved snakes, so
Yeah.
snakes are fine, I can like move them, but with spiders it took me a while, but now I can get to the point where I pick them up and take them outside.
Wow. Yeah, definitely not for me.
Nope.
So before we get into your writing, I understand that your work from home is with a very, I'll say, a niche product under the name of Pretty Dead
Yeah,
Decor, correct? Yeah. So
yeah, that
obviously,
is great.
living where you're living, why don't you tell
Mhm.
us? Obviously, your environment is conducive to doing your job.
Yeah. Well, Pretty Dead Decor is very because I'm also a massive animal person, so I'm very kind of anal about the fact that it is ethically sourced, and so it's hard sometimes because there's not always roadkill. So in my job, ethically sourced means like either roadkill because
Yeah.
we have a lot of trucks coming by and they drive really early in the morning. So in the mornings,
Mm-hmm.
if you go early enough, you'll pick up some roadkill, and either that or like when we go hiking, we'll pick up. There's a lot of baboons here too, so we'll pick up a lot of skulls there. Or the farmers in the like surrounding areas would like gift me or like their deceased animals. Or a lot of my friends. I also do a lot of memorial pieces, so it's strictly ethically sourced. But I kind of try and honor the animal in a way where I give them names, I give them like semi like a whole story and a personality, and I just want to like
Mm-hmm.
create a beautiful art piece with them where they can be enjoyed instead of just like laying in the road rotting away.
Right.
I definitely know that this art is not for everyone, like
Not
I
for
know that
everyone.
like
Yeah.
not for everyone, and that's completely okay.
Sure.
My grandmother is very very conservative, so like she does not like this art, but I really enjoy it. I love it, and I love the people that buy from me too. They love animals, and it's funny because since this is now me going on a different run. But since the Dahmer series came out, people were like, "Oh, people that collect roadkill are serial killers," and I'm like, "No, actually, we're not. I promise." So it kind of gave a bad rep to like people who we call it the vulture culture, people who do what I do,
Yeah.
and it's actually surprising how many people that buy from me. I have vets buying from me, people who love animals, and
Love
a lot of
animals.
memorial
Yeah.
pieces that love animals. And I just did a memorial piece for a friend of mine. She had a boa, a snake,
Yeah.
and I had to do a memorial piece for her because her baby died. And it's people who really love animals, and I was quite surprised because I didn't think I was going to get such a good response since I started Pretty Dead as like what I did. Like some of my pieces are in North Carolina, and I'm like, what the hell is going
Wow.
on?
Wow.
It's yeah. So it's yeah, I
Nice.
love what I do. It's sad though. I'm not gonna lie. I have picked up. I don't think I've ever picked up roadkill without crying, because it is
Yeah.
like
Well, I was going to ask
it
that exact
sucks.
question. Being such an animal lover, it's got to be difficult, even though you're trying to honor
Yeah.
them, and there's a sounds like a spiritual connection of some sort there.
Mm.
I was going to ask, like,
Yeah.
how difficult is it to do it? It must be.
In the beginning, it was way worse. I actually had a stillborn puppy gifted to me, and I could not touch that puppy for like 2 years since I got it
Wow.
gifted. I named it
Yeah.
Thumper. And to a point where I gave it to one of my friends and he created a piece for me. And I was like, I can't work on this. Like, I can't work on the puppy. And even with like cats and stuff and rats, like, I cry. But now I've gotten a kind of a bit better with it. And it's funny because a lot of people ask me, what am I going to do when my pets pass away? And I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't know. Like, I can't even think about that.
Right.
And
Right. Yeah.
it's it's weird doing what I'm doing, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my pets when they pass because they're not going to die; they're immortal. So
Well, that's so
yeah,
interesting. I'm glad we touched on that. With that spiritual connection, I haven't had the opportunity to read any of your work, but do you bring animals into your writing a lot? Do you have such
no,
a love for animals? No?
I don't. Especially like my third book, the one that I'm busy writing. It's about like a guy who owns a restaurant. So for me, which is like funny, is this guy is a cannibal, but he owns the world like a very very famous burger place. And my mom was like, "Why is he a cannibal?" I'm like, "I don't know. I just didn't want to like add animals slaughtered, into the book, and I don't want him to like kill animals and stuff." So I like in my books there's no animals because I'm always like there's a website, doesthedogdie.com, And I'm like religiously on that website if I before I watch a movie and it was a dog. Like when I watched I Am Legend, I was scarred for like a week. So I don't know, it's hard for me to write animals in because I'm always like, okay, well, what do I do with the animal? You know, if something,
Yeah.
because especially because it's such a dark fiction that I enjoy writing, I just don't want to put an animal in that environment. Like, I don't know. I know it's fake, like it's fiction, but
Well, but it's
I don't
yeah,
know if
but
I'm making sense.
it is, but I mean, it means so much to us as writers that makes
Mm,
perfect sense. There's nothing strange
yeah,
about that at all. That makes perfect sense. I'm the other way, so uh,
yeah.
but I do write a lot of animals in my short stories and some of my longer work. They're always a big part of the outcome, positive outcome. So
Oh, I love that show. Yeah,
yeah, but I mean, you know what? It's your story, so it's yeah. You live it when you're
yeah.
writing it. I do. I mean, I'm
This is
there,
true.
right? So,
Yeah, same. Yeah, and I think also like if I ever move into like non darker fictions, maybe I will start writing animals. But because my
hmm,
stories are a little bit more on the dark side, I'm like, no, let's just not do that.
fair. Okay, that's good. I know I've read the blurb and stuff for It's Okay, and that is your
Yeah,
which book is that? Is that your first published work or second?
it's my first.
That's your
It's my
first.
first.
Okay,
Yeah,
right, and that one was in May of this year, correct? In the written
it was.
format.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the written
Okay.
format. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it? So you said there's
Yeah.
a different, it's not what you normally write. So why don't you give us the whole
Yeah.
story about why and what it is?
Why and what it is. So it's okay. I I okay, so South Africa is very heavy with gender-based violence, and I was myself in a very abusive relationship. And after the relationship, I was like, holy shit, like, how did I miss, like, how did I get from point A to point B so fast? Like, how did I miss these red flags? And everyone's like, oh, but we saw it like a while ago, and you just kind of kept going. And people are always saying, like, but why didn't they leave? Why did they leave? And so for me, like I wrote this book because one, I wanted to kind of just get a hold of all the things that I've been through and what I
Hmm.
was dealing with and like with my emotions and kind of like write a book where if someone's going through the same thing, they can read it and be like, oh my God, like I'm not alone. This is what I'm going through. And then
Wow.
kind of like not feel alone and feel like, oh, I have a friend here. Like Simone is my friend, like she understands.
Yeah.
And the second reason why I wrote it is because I have a younger sister who could probably kick my butt because she's like they call me the small older sister because I'm like the smallest in the family.
Right.
Her name's Kiki and she's adorable. But I wrote this book for her because she was reading a lot of Wattpad stories, and like all that stuff. So I was
Yeah.
like, oof, I don't want her to see like these toxic traits being romanticized and think, oh, this is love, he's jealous, this is love. So I kind of wrote the book to one heal what I was feeling and two kind
Yeah.
of have her read it and be like, oh, okay, so these are all like this is fake love, and abuse looks different, you get different kinds of abuse and yeah, so that's basically why I wrote it. And just to I don't know, I just really want women and not just women, even maybe like men too, because men also can get
Sure.
abused. I
Yeah.
just want people to read this and think, wow, I deserve so much better than what I'm like. I deserve the love. I
Yeah.
don't deserve this because abuse is not just physical, it's also mental, and
Sure.
I wrote a man in here too that obviously I wrote as a woman because I am a woman. So
Hmm.
I wrote from my perspective because it's a
Of
lot of my
course.
personal things. Yeah, and like what everything, because my protagonist, her name is Dakota, and everything she felt and like what she went through is basically what I felt and what I went through. Where I was like, oh, it's my fault. It's my fault. It's not his fault. I provoked him, and I just want people to read this and realize, like, no, it's not your fault. You didn't do anything. Like, you deserve to go away and like find happiness.
Wow, good for you. That is, it's so impressive how, because that has to be difficult, first of all, to put on paper. I know it
Mm.
helped you deal with it and get through it.
Yeah,
Um, but you're putting your dark time in your life for everybody to read, and maybe some people just see it as fiction, but now they're all going to know that it's your story,
like
right?
it's Yeah, it's a bit closer to home. Yeah. It was very thank you. It was scary and overwhelming, and I think that's why it took me so long to publish it, or to, send it out to get published. And I was quite
Yeah.
shocked when I got two replies back, and I was like, "What?" Because I didn't even think I was going to get one. Yeah, it's scary, but I think in a way it really like healed that, because I never got closure, if that makes sense. Like I never knew why.
Yes.
And I think it healed that part of me where I'm like, you know what? I don't need closure. Like now I've got a published book, my guy. Like you're nothing.
Right.
Like I don't bye. So but yeah, no, it really helped. And I just really want people to not like, I just don't want anyone to go through the same thing. It's not nice. It's not okay.
No, it is not okay. Good for you. Thanks for sharing that with us. That's amazing.
Thank you for letting me share.
So that was published with Olympia Publishers, correct? That's who one of the
Yeah.
two that gave you the offer. How were they
Yeah.
to deal with? Are you going to use them again? Is that your plan, or
Yeah.
yeah?
Yeah, I
Okay.
am. They're wonderful to deal with. They were
Yeah.
very forthcoming. They explained everything to me. They like anytime I'd email them and ask them a question, they wouldn't like let me wait. They'll like immediately reply, and they were very sweet about me asking all these questions because it was my first time, and I didn't know,
Sure.
and I was very confused. They were very sweet to deal with, very easy to deal with. And yeah, they were just very lovely. Like I got to spoke to Imogen, and I think Beck is the other girl. And there was a guy, I forgot the guy's name, but they were lovely. They are lovely. And they actually
Yeah.
have my second book safe. They have it now with them, and it's kind of like um, in the works, hopefully very
Okay.
soon.
Now they're a hybrid type of a publisher. Is that
Mhm.
right? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they hybrid and traditional. They offered me the hybrid, and they did explain why. And because I know a lot of people have problems with hybrid publishers, but it's
Yeah.
kind of like if you think about it, I'm nobody. Like they don't know me, and now they want to publish my book. Yes, but it's like you're not going to offer Stephen King a hybrid. You're going to give him a
Right.
traditional because everyone knows who
Sure.
he is.
Of
For
course.
me, it's a risk. It's a risk they're taking with a new author, and they explained where all the money goes to. And literally, all I had to do was write my book and send it to them. I
Right.
designed like the cover of It's Okay is a photo I took because I'm actually a professional. Well, I used to be a professional photographer, so it's one of
Okay.
my photos I took. The model, her name is Olivia Cava, lovely girl. She's American,
Yeah.
and so I already had a cover for them. So, but they design covers too, and they do everything for you. They do the editing, they do everything. And
Yeah.
so literally all I had to do is send my book in, and then they would be like, okay, cool. Can you just check if you agree with like the editing we did or the proof? Yeah, just proofread quick.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then besides that, I was like, yeah, cool. So they literally do everything, and they were just so insane. Like, was so insanely forthcoming and like very, very. They took a lot of stress off of me because they
Good.
answered all my thousands of questions.
And that's probably good advice for the first one too, because it is stressful and you don't know which way to go.
Yeah, it was really, especially because I'm also South African and I sent it to a company from the UK. So it
Hmm.
was also stressful in the regard where like I'm not there and I'm here. Like at least the time zone's the same, which helps.
Right. Yeah.
But it's like I don't know, I don't. I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, are they going to email me? And then I would like, I'll ask my husband, do you think I could email them? And so after a few times, I was like, I'm so sorry to bother you. And then Imogen's like, please don't apologize. Like this is your book. Email us whenever you want to email us. And it
Yeah.
really helped. It made me feel a lot less pressure because again, it's a scary thing to do, but it's also a very exciting thing to do.
For
Um,
sure.
and yeah, they sent me 25 copies of my own book. And I was like, oh my goodness, I don't even know 25 people to give a book to. So, but I figured it out.
There you go. Good. And so your second piece is going to be released soon. Where are
Yeah,
these
hopefully about
available? They're
next year.
available next year. Okay. And they're available. I
Yeah.
know It's Okay is available on all the big names.
Yeah. Yeah. And for my South African listeners, it's on Take a Lot. It's about the only South African website it's available on. But yeah,
Okay.
it's and for like US and UK and all that, it's like Barnes and Noble and Amazon and all those.
All the big ones.
big
Yeah,
places.
good.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. And also, obviously, on Olympia's website as well.
Yes.
Shout
Yes.
out to them.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Shout out to Olympia.
Do you write short stories, flash
Mhm.
fiction, or you just do long form writing?
I used to write short stories when I was way younger, but I didn't enjoy it. Like I kind of wanted to, drag it on.
Okay.
It's okay as a novella, so it's a bit shorter than a novel.
Little shorter. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, little shorter, and safe. It's novel size. So I do
Okay.
enjoy like if it's. I mean, a novella is a bit longer than a short story, so
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I like to drag it out a bit.
Okay. Do you have other stories that are unpublished? How much unpublished work do you have? Like you said, you're working on your third novel. Do you have other stories that are going to
Yeah.
be like down the line written as well, or are you kind of a focus on one only?
No, I'm actually it depends. It's like a Sudoku game, if you get stuck with one, you go to the next game and then
That's
you go
right.
back to the other one. So I'm trying to finish, or I'm trying to work on To Die For, but I've had a little bit of writer's block, but I think it's because of it's like a little bit of a creative block. I just need to get out, of my comfort zone a
Yeah.
bit.
Okay.
Maybe take a hike or something. But I do have a poetry book that I put it on Wattpad in like I think like 6 years ago or something.
Hmm.
But I don't know if poetry is my strong suit. I don't know. And then I have another book that I wrote about my experience on cruise ships. So it's more of a real, like, what would you call it? Like it actually happened, kind of like a tell all. Um, but that book is the title is This Book Will Get Me Into a Lot of Trouble. So I don't know if I'm ever going to publish it because it's not a lie.
Okay. Ah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So those are
the
the two
dark
I'm working
secrets of
on
working on a
now.
cruise ship. Yeah.
This is true. I don't say which cruise ship it was, and I don't.
Fair.
My name's not on the book. Still,
Yeah, I
don't want to
gotcha.
step on toes now. But yeah, it's currently right now. I think my main priority is To Die For because it's going to be a very long book. So I'm trying
Okay.
to sort all that out now in my head and on millions
Yeah.
of exam pads.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and life right now is pretty busy for you as well. Just getting married,
Yeah, yeah,
building your new cabin. That would,
building, yeah,
I would think that would affect your writing for sure.
yeah. And I'm also trying to build some stock up with Pretty Dead and stuff.
Yeah. So you tell me that you
Yeah.
like to write darker stories. So like cannibalism, that kind of stuff. Do
Mhm.
you have something you'd like to share right now? Like to read, I mean?
I do have a like I can read you the first little bit of Safe. So Safe
Sure.
is not cannibalism. What I love about Safe is when I send, so I always send my books first to my husband because he's very brutally honest. And if he doesn't like something, I'm like, okay, cool, back to the drawing board.
Okay.
And then I send it to my mom. And because the reason I send it to my mom is she's an avid reader and she loves books. And if I know her, if she doesn't enjoy a book within like the first few pages, she can't
Yeah.
finish it. And I remember sending her Safe, and then she phoned me like a day or so after, and she's like, "Who am I supposed to trust?" And I'm like, "Exactly, mom." So I like keeping people on their toes when it comes to my books. Like you don't know who to like. Do I trust this person? Do I trust? Like I don't know what's happening. Um,
Right.
so Safe is kind of one of those books. Like you don't know who to trust, but there's a lot of excitement in the book too. So I can
Nice.
read you like the first few sentences of chapter one if you'd like.
I would love to hear. Yeah, whatever you're willing to share.
Okay, okay. So, chapter one. How deeply do you genuinely know someone? It seems inevitable that everyone conceals a part of themselves, especially the darker aspects they wish to keep hidden from the praying eyes of the world. You might share moments or even years with a person, but do you ever truly know them? When our paths first crossed, I was taken aback by the sense of security he effortlessly radiated. As our friendship grew, it was just me and him, cocooned in our own world amidst the chaos of the reality. Everything else melted away, just us, in our safe haven of genuine and maturing friendship. Despite its unusual nature, the friendship was quite delightful. So, what could possibly be the issue? Everything seemed so great. Enter the other guy. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah.
So
Oh
that,
no,
yeah, that's safe.
that's a start of safe. Fabulous.
And it could be something, it could be nothing. Like it's
Yeah. Keep us posted on the progress of that on our website. What we're trying to do, selfishly, learn all the good things that you guys, as published writers, have done,
Mm,
but also in return, help you get your work out there and get more exposure. So maybe if you send me an
yeah,
email once in a while of how the progress is going, I'd love to keep our listeners and the website
yeah.
up to date on that. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. I would love to. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Can you tell me a little bit about your writing process? So obviously, I know you write in a cabin, but do you have a
Mhm.
routine? Do you have any tools that you would like to recommend to would-be writers?
My routine would be like I yeah. So I'm a bit of a weird person. I like when I especially when I watch movies, I need to know how the movie ends before I watch the movie. And my husband hates it, but I always have to know how it ends. And it's kind of the same with me in the books. So when I
Okay.
write my books, I always tend to write the first chapter. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, so I got my first chapter. How is it going to end? So I kind of go through everything. And yes, it will change as I go, but
Sure.
I always have somewhat of the ending down. So I write the beginning, I write the ending, and then I write the middle, and I kind of write one shot and then I go again into it and then I just add like the niceties, you know. So I write a very rough draft, and that's kind of my way of writing, which is very chaotic if you think about it. But
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what I do. I just listen to music, have a cup of coffee, and then just kind of just jump headfirst into the book.
Jump right in. Well, if I had
Mhm.
asked the question, being a plotter or a pantser, I guess you would be the latter. You'd be a pantser for sure. That's an interesting way. I mean, I think we all have a general outline with your
Mm.
idea before you get too deep into it. You kind of have an overall view of where it's going to go, but it's interesting that you write your ending
Yeah.
almost to start with.
Yeah, yeah. I just need to know how something ends. So especially when it comes to my books, like when I wrote It's Okay, I knew I was like, okay, this is how it's going to end. With Safe, I knew this is how it was going to end.
Yeah.
Um, Even the book wasn't even finished yet, and then I was like, no, this is the ending. This is how it ends. Still
Nice.
gonna write the book, but this is how it ends.
But at least you knew where it was going to end. Interesting. That's
I
a
knew
very
where it was
interesting way
going.
to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you write on Word? Like, do you have any tools or anything that you use that might help somebody? I use Grammarly for
I
my grammar. What do you use?
Yeah, I have Grammarly too, and then
Okay.
I have this app on my phone called Hemmingboard, like
Okay.
Hemingway, where
Hemingway.
it
Yeah.
kind of gives you the words, so you can write in a word, and then it gives you all like the adjectives or like synonyms or whatever of the word. So it
Oh.
just gives you, instead of being like nice, 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 you can just
Hmm.
see all the other words instead of nice. And I work on Pages because I have iOS everything. So Pages, which is kind of like Word for MacBook, but that's what I use. And yeah, so I have Hemingway, and I do enjoy a good dictionary just to look at what else there is I could say.
Right. I think we kind of forget about dictionaries and thesaurus because we're
Yeah,
so trained to go to the internet for things, right? Or
yeah,
Grammarly and all these other programs. Imagine having a dictionary
this is
beside your
true.
computer.
And there's so many words. Like I know this sounds stupid, but there are so many words. So just like go find a cool one, to put in your book.
Yeah. Well, I like that idea with what was you called it?
Hemmingboard, yeah, like
Hemingboard.
Hemingway,
Okay.
but like Hemmingboard, yeah. It's on the
Yeah,
App
because I
Store.
think Hemingway has a similar to Grammarly. It's a Hemingway app.
Yeah,
If you were to search it, it's you can download software, but you could also just use the website,
yeah,
and it will fix your grammar as well.
yeah, yeah. Because Hemmingboard adds to your kind of like how your emojis are on your
Yeah.
keyboard.
Yeah.
So you click it, like you click once and you get your emojis, and you click it again, and it comes to Hemmingboard. And then you kind of
Oh,
search
okay.
how you can search an emoji. You search like the word, and then it shows you whatever else you are looking for. It
Interesting.
shows
So
like
that's on an
a lot of things.
iOS, right? iPhone.
Yeah, yeah, I have an iPhone. Yeah, I
Huh.
mean, my husband's got a Samsung. I can ask him if he has it on, if he can download it. But Yeah, so
Yeah.
far it's on its hemming board. It's like a little brownish logo, or what do you call it? I
Yeah,
don't know what it's
icon
called.
or whatever. Yeah.
Icon. There we go. Yeah, words.
I'm going to look for that. I think that would
I'm
be
a
very
writer,
helpful.
guys.
Right? I do struggle with that, like, synonyms and stuff like that. And I think that would be a
Yeah,
fantastic tool just to have
sure.
for quick access.
Let me see if I can find it for you because I was searching for Hemingway board. My border collie is staring at me now.
Hey, Mom.
She's like, "Why are you still here?"
I actually have a Samsung, so I just typed it into Play Store. I don't see it.
Oh,
Maybe there's something that's similar.
I think she wants to say hi. Hey, Mona. Come here. Yeah, Lucy.
What's her
She's
name?
like very excited. Her name's Mona. Come here.
Mona. I think I
This,
saw a picture on your Instagram with her. Do they both look similar, both your border collies, or no?
Mona's got very light eyes, and then Patat
Yeah.
has very darker eyes, and she's
Okay.
got way more spots on her nose. I actually
Nice.
have a Mona tattoo. She was my
Yeah.
first dog. I don't know if
Oh,
you knew
okay.
that.
There you go.
Yeah,
Nice.
she was
Beauty.
my first dog, and the reason her name is Mona is because my mom named her, because I'm Simone and my nickname is Mona. And
Oh,
my
okay.
birthday is on the 29th of July, and Mona was born on the 29th of July in 2020. So my mom named her Mona because she's a mini me.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
animals. My wife and I have had 5 dogs since we were married 25, 26 years ago. But unfortunately, as time takes them from us, right? So right now we have 3 cats.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wish I would love a cat, but our dogs are not fans of cats.
Fair. Yeah,
So
yeah. You know what?
I'm
We had 1 cat when we had 3 of our dogs last year. We lost all of ours within 5 months of one another. It was a tough year last year.
oh wow.
But our older cat, who's now 15 and kind of rules the roost here, he was okay with dogs. He thought he was a dog. When the dogs
Yeah.
would go out in the yard to do their business, he would want to go and he would stand at the door and look
What?
back over his shoulder and meow at us, saying, "I want to go too." Yeah. So
That's so cute.
I know, right? All right. The one you're writing right now, let's finish off on you telling me where you are and what your third.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
To Die For, and it's very still a work in progress. I think I've
it
got two
is. Okay.
chapters so far, and
Oh,
the
I see.
ending.
So it's brand new for you?
But it's brand new. But I have like the basic outline. Like I know who he is and why he does what he does. And I already have a cover because for me, I always have to design my cover first before I write my book. So I had the cover done. It was there.
Okay.
And then do the beginning and the ending.
Did you have a company do that or somebody, like, did somebody do that for you or did you do it yourself? The cover, I mean.
No, it's just me. I mean, one of the perks of being a ex-professional photographer is knowing Photoshop. So I just
Right. Okay.
Photoshop things. Yeah.
Fabulous.
Um,
That might be something else you can add if you have time while you're in the cabin and
yeah.
your husband is away working. You should maybe offer cover design because I know a lot of indie authors who
Cool.
you could. Yeah.
Would like that. Yeah, I would definitely like. I mean, if they like my designs, but yeah, I love designing my own thing. I don't know. It just
Nice.
feels better.
You're going to be on the Brilliant Fiction podcast webpage, so someone will reach out.
Of course, yeah. Reach out to me. I'd love to have a chat and design some things. I'm not bad. I'm actually good. I'm good
Good
at
for you.
designing things.
There you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, back to your book. Sorry.
Yeah, To Die For. So with To Die For, protagonist, but he's actually the bad guy. So he's like an anti-hero. Or
Mm-hmm.
not even a hero. He's just anti. His name's John because I wanted to give him like kind of like John Doe, just an average male
Oh,
name. Not that I'm
okay.
saying John is an average name, but when you don't know what someone is, or if you find a body, it's John Doe.
It's always a
So
John Doe, yeah, for
his name's
sure.
just John or Jane Doe. So his name is John, and I'm very interested in like the psychology and all of that behind like true crime and like serial killers and why they are what they are. So, for instance, John would do something that for us, like people like you and me, like, that are psychotic, it would be
Yeah.
like, what are you doing? But for him, it makes complete sense that he's doing this because that is how his brain is wired. And there's a reason why his brain is wired that way. There's a reason why he's a cannibal. It's a reason why he's doing this. He's got very bad OCD. He needs to be the best at everything, he's got antisocial personality disorder. So he's very, like, everything he does, there's a reason, and you can kind of like you would see him doing it and you're like, why the hell are you doing that? Like when you read it, you're going to be like, what are you doing? And then later on, you'll be like, oh shit, okay, that makes sense. That's why he's doing that. So
Yeah.
in the book, there's also a lot of flashbacks. So it would be like present where he's at his restaurant, running the show, and it's very popular and people love it. And it's based in Mount Shasta. And then it would be a flashback to his childhood, and that would kind of put a little bit more light on why he's doing X, Y, and Z.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of how To Die For is.
Nice. Sounds awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, you know what? I know you say it's darker, but I think there's probably an audience for it. So my favorite author of all time is Stephen King, and I like the way he, yeah, right. And my wife will say he's so weird. What do you like about it? And I think I like the fact that his writing is so weird. So I'll have to give yours a read as well. Yeah, for sure.
Oh my god, I would be so honored.
Yeah. Well, when I do, I'll let you know.
Thank you. Yeah, weird kids are always growing up, I was such a weird kid. Like, I remember in like high school, the teachers told my mom like they're scared of me, and because I had like black hair and I was very like emo and stuff. And they were like, "Yeah, no, she'll never amount to anything," and this and that. And look at me now, weird kids for the win.
Right?
Come on.
Yeah, that's the fun part of Brewing Fiction Podcast. We come, we talk, we have fun, and then hopefully somebody picks up either an idea or a tool, or hey, hopefully someone picks up your book. That would be perfect, right?
Oh, if you do, I love you and I appreciate you.
There you go. Simone, I appreciate you taking the time. I know your evening is winding down, but I do appreciate your time. I'm very excited to read some of your work, and love to have you back maybe when Safe is published. Maybe we'll reach out to one another and see if we can set up another time and talk about it and the process of how that went for you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I would love that. And thank you for having me. It was so stress-free. It was lovely.
Oh, good. I stress out before, like I pace half hour before I sit down. You're episode number 20, and I still pace. My wife is like, "Could you please go sit down or go do something?" Because I get nervous, but just because I'm meeting new people, and I guess I'm not the most outgoing person. So but you were wonderful to have as a guest. I appreciate it, and I'd love to have you back.
Thank you, and thank you for having me. And I'm excited to be back when Safe is out.
You can find Simone and Pretty Dead Decor on all social media platforms, or by visiting brewingfictionpodcast.com and following the link to her link tree. Next week, Devin Ullman returns to update us on the exciting news and events from his nonprofit horror movie company, Dead Prairies Productions. We'll discuss awards, milestones, and the upcoming release of their 17th movie, The Silver Screen. Tune in for all this and more on the next Brewing Fiction Podcast. See you then. Cheers.